I already clicked it.
Oh, don't do this.
While you were dreaming, dreaming life away, ever believing the dreams may fade, but never go away. Dreams will never fade. Trapped by life. What a shame. Why try to find a way? Find a way while you were dreaming, dreaming life away. Ever believing your dreams were here to stay. Whoa, whoa, while you were dreaming, find another way, ever believing your dreams may fade, but never go away. Dreams will never fade. While you were dreaming, dreaming life away, ever believing your dreams are here to stay. Whoa, whoa, while you were dreaming, find another way, ever believing your dreams may fade. Ooh, yeah. You ready, Jonathan Scott?
I think I am. Jason and Janebs. Jet Velocity. Hey, everybody. John Scott with Vegas Nonstop, a very special edition of Vegas Nonstop. Thank you, guys. That was
You're
awesome.
very welcome. Good
Thank
morning
you,
to
Captain
you.
Crunchy. It's just kind of early in the morning. We're starting a little early, more than usually. We're on at 12:30. We've got a special guest. We're backstage with Joe Puerta, one of the founding legacy members of Ambrosia.
Right.
So I've done a little research, Joe.
Oh,
so
good.
thanks for joining us.
Okay.
So this is from Wikipedia, which is never right.
Never right.
Never right. So
No.
so correct me anytime. You just jump in here and you guys jump in too.
Okay.
Joe Puerta, born in California, July 2nd, 1951.
That's right. That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Bassist, vocalist, co-founder, along with David Packer of the American rock group Ambrosia.
That's right.
Appearing 8 p.m. tonight, Friday, July 27th, here at the Golden Nugget, where we are in the Frank Sinatra suite, which is really amazing. Janae actually sat on the Frank Sinatra commode earlier. Joe Puerta is credited with co-writing one of the earliest hits, Holding On to Yesterday.
That's all correct. Yes.
Joe Puerta was a member of Sheena Easton's touring band
With Bruce Hornsby, actually. Yes.
Nice. From 83 to 85.
That's how we survived during the era when we were trying to get a record deal for the Bruce Hornsby range.
And actually, I heard, as I was driving here, Bruce Hornsby came on the radio. I took that as like a sign from above.
Well, we're gonna try to maybe actually do a little tribute to him tonight. If you want.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We've never done any Bruce Hornsby songs, but tonight we said, well, let's pull one out tonight. So
that should be
a
great.
little surprise.
Again, tonight there's tickets available here at the Golden Nugget. Joe's association with Bruce Hornsby started when Hornsby was invited to play sessions with Ambrosia on the last album. And you currently live in LA or Milwaukee?
I live in LA. I own a recording studio in Milwaukee because I lived there for many years. bought a studio and I still have it, and I go kind of back and forth.
Milwaukee, where you can smell the fresh dairy air.
Wait, is that Laverne and Shirley territory?
Shlemiel, Schlemazel. That's a week from Monday. We're going to have Cindy Williams on.
for Corporation.
One of those.
So, yeah.
Joe started his own studio near his suburban Milwaukee home, The Exchange.
That's true.
Where he produced several artists, including Les Loki.
That's one of the first ones I ever did. Yeah, and she's a wild woman.
Oh, Les is a woman.
Les is a woman. Yeah.
Okay.
Leslie probably. Yeah.
Big Nick and the Zydeco's.
Oh my God, you got everybody. Yeah, I did a bunch of bands. Yeah, all of them. You know, nobody so far except for there's one young girl who just won a Grammy Award. She did something with Chance the Rapper, Grace Weber, who I produced some records for, and she's finally starting to get known via her association with Chance the Rapper, who he just won, I think, Best New Artist.
I think he's from Chicago. I'm a Chicago guy, but
Oh, okay. Well, you know, Chicago and Milwaukee are like cousins.
I used to commute. I used to work at the Midway Motor Lodge on Highway 100 in Blue Mound.
I kind of know that place.
Across from the zoo.
Yeah.
And it was like a traveling salesman kind of a place, and it had a great salad bar. It still had the best spinach salad that I never had. Well, I've never had
that you
hot
never
bacon
had?
dressing today.
It was the best salad I never had.
That's right. That's right. The Good Luck Joes. Are you in that band?
Those no. They were young kids who had this goes back into the change of the record industry. All of these people in a different era would have had record deals. At least, you know, they used to develop acts.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you got to develop yourself. And it seems like my nephew was in a terrific band called. Now I'm going to space on the
No, it's not. You see why I have notes, Joe?
Certainly, the
I've got the memory of a flea. And wait. Here's the back page. Good Luck Joe's, Alaria Taylor, and Big Nick and the Zydeco's.
No.
That's all the bands I've got. And then I'm moving into Milwaukee or LA.
No, it's called King Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, and King Washington had terrific album, great response. Everywhere they played, people loved them. They had tiny labels would maybe sign them, give them a few dollars that they could go out to a few more cities, and then they run out of money.
Yeah.
And just after years of just beating their heads against the wall, they finally gave it up. It sounds like, but they're a terrific band, and I'm very proud.
Say the name of them again.
King Washington.
King Washington. So
yeah, that's the band. That's of all the bands. That was the one band that I thought really had a shot because they were a great band live, just terrific band live. And actually, Tyson Kelly, who was one of the main singers, he just moved to England, and he also he makes his living. Actually, he's one of the #1 John Lennon imitators in the world. He did Broadway, you know. He did.
I probably saw him because I went to Liverpool.
Okay.
And I went to the Cavern Club, and there was a guy playing guitar outside that looked like John Lennon, sounded like John Lennon.
Wow.
Oh,
Could have been John Lennon.
No, well, he just moved there this week. There's probably more than one of these guys.
Yeah, well, they're just like there's only one Elvis impersonator.
Yeah, that'd be Trent Carlini.
There was a joke about that. When Elvis impersonators started springing up, what, 35 years or 40 years ago?
Yeah.
That was growing so quickly that someone did the math on it. They said, by the year 2020, 1 out of every 3 males on Earth will be an Elvis impersonator. It was a spread.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Kept
much.
up at that pace.
Today, would you just check that, make sure we're still live? Make sure it just says live on there.
Okay.
We just actually want to see you walk
Absolutely.
around.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. Ambrosia is an American rock band formed in Southern California in 1970, so says live. Great. Ambrosia had 5 top 40 hit singles on Warner Brothers, released between 75 and 80, including top 5 hits, How Much I Feel and Biggest Part of Me.
Yeah, those are the 2 biggest hits.
Biggest hits.
You're the only one that was very big too. Yeah.
Most of the original band members have been active with the group continuously for the past 25 years.
That's
How
awesome.
do you do that?
I don't know. I guess you just forget. You lose
You just
track.
show up?
Half the time we don't know what day of the week it is, so I guess it just passes by.
And
Today is Friday, just for a reminder for you folks out there, because I have trouble remembering. I don't know if it's Monday or Friday.
When you don't have your 9 to 5 job, you do often go, what day is it? Is it
Yeah.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah, at least once a day.
At least.
I go, what day is it? Honey, what day is it?
Now, which members are original?
We started off with as a 4-piece. We had Chris North, Burley Drummond, and myself. We're still with the band. Dave Pack was the 4th member. Dave went solo many years ago. He kind of came into the band for a while, then he went back to being solo. So he's out on his own doing. He's always been prolific songwriter and producer and stuff like that. And his scheduling, when we wanted to go back on the road, it became problematic. And we sort of had a schism about that. We finally went our separate ways. It just
How do you spell schism?
SCHISM.
Wow.
There's an H
I
in
thought
there?
it,
Yes.
I thought it might be SK.
Schism,
They
which
work-
rhymes with.
Chisholm.
Thank you, Janaea.
Prism. I would have said
Prism.
Forget
But
it.
Janaea said
Jism.
jism.
Okay.
All right, now if we could just run through this real quick. This is I told Shannon this is going to be
Leave
loose.
it to me.
This was.
And I don't want to. If you just got any brief story on any people I want to mention
Okay.
that I think are amazing people that
Right,
you've had
right.
the opportunity to work.
Yes.
Leonard Bernstein.
That was something. It goes back to our earliest days. I was in a band before Ambrosia with a guy named Jim Gamble. Jim Gamble was this electronic genius. He was a bass player. I was a guitar player. And one day he turns to me. He goes, "Joe, you're going to be the bass player. You're going to buy me 2 D140 speakers, and I'm going to start a sound company." And so he
I don't know.
he built his own box. And he started from nothing. He built his own everything. And but gradually he's such a genius. He started working with this major sound company called Tycho Brahe, and they
Called
were
what?
Tycho Brahe.
Tycho.
They used to do Rolling Stones, Rod Stewart eventually, but they were trying to get the gig at the Hollywood Bowl. So they said, "Hey guys, you guys, we're playing like little bars. Do you want to play the Hollywood Bowl?" I go, "Yeah. What is it?" "Well, all we need is you to set up and play, and then they're going to set their system up so that people could listen to the system and just."
Oh yeah.
So while we were doing this, we did this thing at the Hollywood Bowl. This very distinguished Englishman named Gordon Perry, who was hired that year to be the sound consultant for the Hollywood Bowl. He had won 5 Grammy Awards for classical engineering.
Wow.
And at that time, we were really into the prog rock thing, and we were doing like things that were very much influenced by like classical
Progressive
music
rock,
themes,
with prog rock?
which is much more influenced by classical music. You know, a lot of strange riffs, and you know, it wasn't pop music that much, but we were doing a lot of that at that time. So he came up to us afterwards and he said, "I really found myself I wasn't looking at my dB meters anymore. I was listening to your music. Where did you guys learn how to play? You know, are you all trained and all this?" And we're like, I don't think I'd ever even seen a symphony. I just liked music, and I never. But I enjoyed it a little bit of this and that. Just,
Yeah.
"If you want to come to the bowl, you're my guest the rest of the year." So we started going to the bowl for free, and he would take us backstage and introduce us to all these famous conductors.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Lucas Foss, and this is Zubin Mehta, and this is Ambrosia. And "Oh, pleasure to meet you." And I thought we were like this, a successful group. We were still playing bars.
Yeah, I love that.
So anyway, he recorded, the Israeli Symphony, and
Is that with Zubin Mehta?
that was with Leonard Bernstein. So
Oh,
Bernstein was good friends with Leonard Bernstein because he was like the guy you wanted to get if you were recording a symphony.
Yeah.
So actually, I think he was in Israel recording a symphony, and Bernstein was in New York. And my first road gig I ever had.
As the roadie goes by.
Yeah, that guy.
Right on cue. Cue the roadie.
was with a singer who's actually out of Wisconsin named Shai Coltrane. Shai Coltrane had a hit with a song called Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
You know that song?
How's it go?
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah, that's it. Thunder and Lightning. Thunder and
I'm
Lightning.
gonna
Just like
go
that.
thunder, lightning.
Like that.
Any relation to John Coltrane?
No, she's like German.
Oh,
Coltrane's
okay.
a German name. She's
Okay.
blonde hair. But the first thing when I heard the name, because actually the guy who got me the gig, believe it or not, was Billy Paul, who did Mrs. Jones. Remember me and Mrs.
Oh.
Jones?
Me and
Well, I was playing-
Mrs. Jones,
Mrs.
we've
Jones.
got a thing
You're
going
on.
on.
Yeah.
I was playing at a party. Actually,
You
it was
guys should be singing that.
It was the Ambrosia guys, and Billy Paul happened to be there and said, "I just did a TV show on with Shai Coltrane." He said, "She's
Yeah.
looking for a bass player who could sing." He says, "Give her a call." So I did. I got that gig. So anyway, I did my first tour where we were in New York. I get a call from Gordon Perry in Israel, who's recording the Israel Symphony. He goes, "I just talked to Lenny."
Lenny, yeah.
And I told him he must go see you tonight. I'm playing bass for Shai Coltrane. So anyway, so put him on the guest list tonight. I said, plus a couple of friends. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. So we're doing sound check at the bottom line. I think it's a little cave almost of a club, a little folk club.
Mm-hmm.
Seats 200 people maybe. So we're doing our sound check, and after sound check, the manager of the place goes, "Anybody have a guest for tonight?" I go, "Yeah, Leonard Bernstein plus 2."
Oh.
And he kind of goes, "Okay." Anyway, so he walks away, and then we go in the dressing room. Right a few minutes before we go on, he comes running back into the dressing room and goes, "Leonard Bernstein just came in." And I said, "Yeah, he's on my guest list."
You must have
like,
thought we were joking.
so he thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And so we got to be good friends with him, and his daughter, Jamie Bernstein, we did some recordings with her, because she's a terrific writer, sings, and she comes from a great family. The Bernsteins are a unique family.
Yeah.
You know, and
Well, I don't know.
It was yeah.
I believe you.
Well, the one time we actually had dinner at the Bernstein residence. They lived in the Dakotas. I think they were right above or right below where Lennon lived, right?
Yeah, Yoko still has 4 cooperatives there.
Really?
I was just there a couple of years ago with my friend Stephen Bogart, because his mother Lauren McCall had
She lives there too. Yeah.
They just sold it when she passed, but yeah.
But I remember we had just had dinner with Bernstein at the Dakota, like in October, where it wasn't that much before the Lennon murder happened.
Yeah.
And I remember we were in Japan, and the news came on, and I remember seeing the door of the Dakota. We had just gotten through there, and the below.
Yeah, those gates, yeah.
And I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But anyway, the dinner we had, going back to the dinner we had, it
had to be amazing.
It was amazing. And Bernstein was like this creative guy.
Yeah.
So while we were there around the dinner table, and we were there with, I think it's Adolph Green and Dorothy
Producers.
Babin. They wrote "Singing in the Rain."
Wow.
The people who wrote "Singing in the Rain."
You know that one?
Wow, singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain.
So
what a wonderful feeling. I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Any music's cute.
So that's good. So anyway, we got to play a game where we had to sing a song, and everybody had to make a lyrics on the spot. And it was about the theme was Johnny Green. Johnny Green, Johnny Green. Then we had da 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 da, and we had da 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 da. We had to just make up spots,
Right.
And it had to be, just tearing the guy a new one because he hated Johnny Green.
He hated Johnny
Because he had rearranged the music for West Side Story for the movie, I guess, and he never got over that.
Well, I was watching a documentary.
Which I love the music, guys. I would hate to tell him.
Shout out to Melissa. We were watching a documentary on Stephen Sondheim the other night.
Okay.
And I didn't know that Stephen Sondheim
Wrote the lyrics.
wrote the lyrics
Oh, yeah.
to some of West Side Story.
I think he was a lyricist for all of it, wasn't he?
I don't know about all of it, but certainly a good part of it.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was
Sondheim.
Bernstein and Sondheim.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and Bernstein gave him the credit, and he said, "Don't worry about the money." That's the Sondheim said, "Don't worry about the money. Just give me the credit for the song."
Okay, hint for young songwriters out there: never turn down a
Never say.
co-writing credit.
Never say, "Don't worry about the money."
Don't worry about the writing. I don't need the publishing. No.
I did that because I had helped contribute to the song "You're the Only Woman Enough," and David offered me part of writing. I said, don't worry about it. Now it became one of our biggest hits.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I mean,
Kurt Vonnegut, "Cats in the Cradle."
Cat's Cradle.
Cat's Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle is.
that's
Cat Stevens.
Cat's Cradle is the name of the book that I was reading when we were doing our first album, and we had a song that our producer at the time said, "I like the song, I think it's interesting, but I'm not digging on the lyrics. Can you guys rewrite lyrics?" And we're sitting there, you're stuck, and I'm reading this book, and in this book, there's a character who's called Bokanon, who's kind of like a prophet of this religion, and he writes these calypsos, they were called. And one of them was called Nice, Nice, Very Nice. A sleeping drunkard in Central Park, lion hunter in Jungle Dark, Chinese dentist, British queen, they all fit together in the same machine. Nice, nice, very nice. So many people in the same device. I thought, that's kind of cool. That's kind of interesting, how we're all connected. So he had written only one verse. So I had to write a verse.
In Vonnegut style.
Thinking of the same kind of theme, and I wrote a Whirling Dervish, Dancing Bear, Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire, Teenage Rockers, The Girls in France, just we all are partners in this cosmic dance. That was my verse.
Nice.
So, it worked, it worked.
Yeah.
And so we had the song, we recorded it, and we brought out again, through the suggestion of Gordon Perry, the guy I mentioned earlier.
Engineer.
When we were making our album, he brought an album one day to our house. We were all living in a house in Sylmar, California. And he said, "This is the greatest pop recording of all time. the man who mixed this album must mix your album. And we go, what is it? He goes, it's called Dark Side of the Moon.
Ah,
He was a classical engineer.
Wow.
One of the greatest ears in the world. He said, listen to this. And we put it on. I went, oh my God. I said, well, how do we get a hold of this guy? Who is it? Well, his name is Alan Parsons, you know. And so he said, well, what do we do? Well, he works at Abbey Road. So he said, let's call Abbey Road. So we call Abbey Road. And oddly enough, the night watchman who would normally answer the phone was out because there was a disturbance in the parking lot or something. So Alan's walking by, the phone is ringing, he picks it up.
Get
Is
it?
Alan Parsons there? Speaking. So
That's great.
so Alan Parsons, we talked to him, and you know, who was this band from America? He could have been Pranks, but then Gordon gets on. This is Gordon Perry, chief recording engineer for London Decca Records, and as soon as he's on, if you know anything
It's
about
real.
recording, you go, oh, these guys must be the real deal. But we were nobodies at that time. You know, really, we were just making an album which we believed in, but no one knew who we were. You know, and so Gordon helped us get that connection to Alan, and Alan said, well, I'm coming out in a few weeks for the Grammy Awards. I'll come to your house and I'll listen to your rough mixes.
Yeah.
So he did that, and he sat there and he listened, and he was very quiet after him. We're all like pins and needles, like, what do you think? He goes, I think it's fantastic.
Oh.
And he loved it. He loved what we did, and so he mixed our first album. He didn't produce the first album. He actually gave him production credit for the mix because he brought his magic to the mix. And that album was nominated for Best Engineered Album. Yeah, so it's actually the team of people that recorded it along with his mix. Then on the second album, we brought him in to produce from the beginning, and that album was nominated for Best Engineered. Of course, Alan's got amazing, ears.
He was just in town about a month ago or a few weeks ago. I've got a dummy question about Dark Side of the Moon. Tell me if you've ever heard this or not.
Sure.
If you sync it up with the movie The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, the people do that. Yeah.
Something special is supposed to happen.
Well, it's supposed to-
It somehow is magically.
It works.
Syncs up from black and white when the song is over, it goes to color. So I want to have a party.
And you're supposed to do a shot or something every time, too. There's something
Well,
like
that never hurts anything. That never hurt.
Maybe that's why I never
hurts
made it
anything.
through the movie.
So Zubin, you're moving down the list here to putting you on the spot with stories. Did Zubin Mehta? How did that?
Well, again, because we used to go backstage and we were introduced to all these conductors, and Zubin Mehta was the main conductor of the LA Symphony at the time, and Gordon arranged a concert for us at Royce Hall, UCLA. Just on his own, he put it on himself, and he said, "Zubin, you got to go see these guys." So Zubin Mehta's in the crowd watching this unknown band at the time at Royce Hall, and several months later, there was going to be a concert called the All American Dream Concert, which was all going to be contemporary classical music. None of the original, Beethoven and all that. It was all going to be 20th century writers. Some of it being very modern. One of the pieces that was going to be played featured, I think it was 2 rock bands. Orchestra, rock band on one side, rock band on the other side. And so he called us and said, "You guys want to do this thing with the Philharmonic?"
Zubin Mehta.
And it was literally, of course, we get to play the LA Philharmonic. And so we got to do one song with the LA Phil, and then we got to do one of our own songs, which ended up on our first album. We had that, which was a very strange kind of progressive song called Mama Frog. We had the
Mama
orchestra-
Frog?
Yeah, we had orchestra do weird sound effects.
No drugs were taken during that.
Yeah.
Now I've got King Crimson in my notes here somewhere.
Well, King Crimson is the band that changed the direction of the band. Because when I first, again, going back to the band that earlier I mentioned, the guy Jim Gamble, who was the bass player of this band, that band evolved little by little into Ambrosia. But the band that I was in when I joined this band, they were called Down Punksy, and it was kind of like doing kind of that Southern California, more country rock thing, more like really influenced like by Buffalo Springfield and Crosby, Stills and Nash and stuff like that. Dave joined that band, and then the keyboard player got rid of him. Chris joined that band. Then the drummer left, and we brought in Burley. Gradually, that band became Ambrosia, and we went to see King Crimson on Chris North's recommendation that he heard that they were pretty good, and we walked out of there like, oh my God,
Court of
that
the
just had
Crimson
changed.
King.
That had changed music so dramatically when these guys came out. 20th Century Schizoid Man, if you know that one.
Yeah, 20th.
It's great.
If you've never seen a show at the Hollywood Bowl, it's one of the most sophisticated
beautiful.
places
It
that you
is.
could go.
Oh.
Bring a
Awesome
picnic
sound.
basket, a bottle of wine.
I just did it
and a
last
beautiful-
week.
And you know what?
What'd you say?
Well, it was Beethoven. It was my
It was Beethoven.
My sister had season tickets, and she.
Bob Beethoven.
Yeah.
And you know what? You don't even have to be inside. When I first moved to LA, you could actually go up. There was a fence, and you could sit there and watch it from
Yeah.
the fence, or sit
Yeah.
outside the fence and do it, and just
Yeah.
hear the music.
The last time I was there was a tribute to Miles Davis, and it had
Oh,
like
my
the
God.
3 stages of Miles,
Right.
like early Miles and electronic Miles and
Sure.
then way out Miles.
Oh
Wow,
It's
miles
just
and
a cool
miles and
place.
miles.
Yeah.
And they did it.
we got to see I got to see Miles Davis twice. Yeah, it was pretty
Oh.
crazy.
Yeah, I saw him once in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
They always have some players. Yeah.
How'd you get the name Ambrosia? I mean, I've got some notes here. You know,
Well, the name, the story on that was, we were playing around. Initially, we were called Ambergris Might. As a name I picked up out of 1001 Nights or something like that. Reading something, I used to read a lot, and then I saw this name Ambergris Might. I thought that's kind of cool. So we were Ambergris Might. Then a band came out on Paramount Records called Ambergris. I couldn't believe
Oh,
it.
Wow, what are the
Ambergris.
odds? It's
Oh,
like a,
shoot.
wow.
So I thought, oh, we need to change our name, but we were already playing around with Amber. I go, maybe something close to Amber. So I just went to the dictionary, Ambrosia, the nectar of the gods, makes people immortal. You know, it kept you immortal, and you know, I thought, well, that sounds
And
good.
isn't it like a mixture, a blend of different fruits? And
Well, now it's a food thing.
Yeah.
But
It
the
is?
initial thing
Yes.
is
oh yeah, now you can eat it.
it's what the gods ate to keep themselves immortal, Ambrosia.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, well, music
That's
kind of keep
powerful.
you like Beethoven.
Shades,
He's sort of-
textures, colors, and style.
He sort of is immortal. You know, you think about music kept
Yeah.
him immortal.
It is.
He's never going to die.
I just like that he was deaf.
Well, at the end, yeah, he was not his whole career. He was.
How old was he when he died? Was he,
He was probably maybe 40,
30?
50.
Yeah,
you
he
know.
was young.
Mozart died very young, even younger. But
Even younger?
yeah,
I've got Whiskey a Go-Go in my notes here that you attended a show, or you probably
that
went
was
to.
at the King Crimson show. That was.
Oh, that was at the Whiskey?
Yeah, at the Whiskey. Yeah.
Did you know Mario? Did you meet Mario? He owned it. He was
I know he's a
He was-
legend, but I
Yeah, he
I
just
didn't know
passed
him.
recently.
Mario was a
Yeah.
trip.
It's
He was
still
like
there. I
92.
just actually played at the Whiskey Go with a friend of mine. They have this thing called it's like a theme night, and they'll have a night. It's like trios. So it's a bunch of great musicians from all over LA.
Like Ultimate Jam Night? Is it like
It's
that?
kind of like a jam, but
Yeah.
everybody has to do a song that's by a trio, like
Oh,
Cream or the
that's
Police,
okay.
or a good friend of mine who played for many years. He's actually played with Ambrosia a few times. Mark Bonilla, great guitar player. He plays with Keith Emerson until his demise, which unfortunately came a few years ago. But he got up. It was a trio because ELP is a trio, but they had like 5 pieces with keyboards and all. They did
Wow.
one of their songs, but I did a Police song with a friend of mine there. It was fun.
And you can always go next door to the Rainbow, and it doesn't matter. It's Tony's always at the door. It's a different Tony, but there's a Tony. Hey, it's Tony. Yeah.
Best chicken soup you're ever going to get in the world if you can go backstage at the Rainbow Bar and Grill and go in the kitchen. It really is the
You
best.
know your food, don't you?
Yeah.
It's all, I'm from Chicago. It's all about food for me.
Okay.
Anyway, we're here with Joe
Speaking of
Puerta.
food, I'll give a little plug to my cousin.
Yeah.
Who's got a restaurant here.
Oh, what is it?
It's the best restaurant in Nevada. It's called Bazaar Meats. Jose Andres is his name. You see his
Is
signs?
Jose, is he your cousin?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
Bizarre.
Is that the SLS?
SLS, yeah.
Right across from my house?
I can't afford to go there yet, Jose. It's
I think for plugging the restaurant,
No,
we should all
no,
have
no.
dinner at Bazaar, but I hear great things about it.
yeah. His name is Spain because in Spain you have your mother and father's last name. So his name would be Jose Andres Puerta in Spain because his mother's the Puerta.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the mother name comes second?
Yeah, it's the dad, then the mom is the second name.
Ah.
So usually you have 2 last names.
Out of these names, there's so many. Dave Mason, Gary Wright, Al Stewart,
Yeah.
Doobie Brothers, Hart, Fleetwood Mac, Michael McDonald. These are all people that you've toured with or
Oh, yeah, yeah.
still touring with
Sure.
from time to time. Anything
Well, we
jump
just
out?
did a cruise where we were Michael McDonald's band. That was kind of fun because we had done this at one of those Time Life rock and romance cruises. We had done it 2016, 2017. They wanted us back, and it was a weird thing. We had a conflicting cruise. You can't do different cruises. You only do one.
Was it Royal Caribbean?
I don't know what it was.
I hope
we
it
had
wasn't
to-
Carnival.
We had to do it incognito, but we were asked to be Mike McDonald's backup band. So that we're such big fans of him, and to learn all this stuff, and we were because he's got talk about a voice, one of the most unique
Yeah.
and powerful voices.
Yeah, he gets way up there.
Which is so soulful and rich.
It's bigger than anybody's voice I've ever heard. You got a big voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you
You're-
very much.
But,
I appreciate it.
but when Michael McDonald sings, I remember doing years and years ago, Dave Pack, my old partner, he was the music director for Clinton's inaugural. And they had BB and CeCe Winans, who are two famous
great.
gospel singers,
Sure.
right?
Right.
And they were doing one of the songs they're going, I'll Take You There. I know a place, ain't no
That's
you know.
from
So
I'll
Staple
Take You
Singers.
There.
That was out of Chicago, Staple Singers.
So
not
BB
Staple.
and CeCe were doing their thing,
BB
and they're gospel singers. Gospel singers,
You know the
JJ.
Oh, yes.
you know, they're known.
Yeah.
I'll take you there.
Yeah, they're known for their, you know, they don't hold back.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were singing and big, and it was grooving. Suddenly, Michael came up to do his verse. So,
Ooh.
hey, no, like, whoa, where did this guy's at? His voice is like twice
So
as
rich.
big as anybody
So
else.
rich.
They used to call him with the Doobie Brothers, Baboom. Remember the character Baboom? He was a character,
No.
Mr. Baboom, and he'd blow buildings away.
Oh, really?
Like
Like a cartoon character?
Baboom. They just call him Baboom.
I don't know if you've ever played it, but I have a friend named Bruce Cohen. B.R. Cohen Winery was the manager.
Well,
of
he
the
managed
Doobie
us for a short time. We were good. Oh,
He did?
Yeah, he was actually our manager for we tried it out for a while. Sometimes the management thing doesn't work out, but
Yeah.
he was going to be our manager, and we tried it out for a while, and we decided it just didn't work out. But
Yeah.
it was, we
Great
know.
winery in Napa or Sonoma, one of the two.
Yeah.
And great olive oil as well.
Oh.
And just a good guy. He sold the winery, but they still
Yeah, he did sell
every
that.
October they have
Big
they
benefit concert.
they
there,
have the
yeah.
concert. It used to be a golf tournament, but that's too much work. So then they went to the Doobies, Tower of Power.
Huey Lewis,
and you guys,
maybe.
Huey Lewis.
A lot of buddies from up there.
And a great time in October, but you know you can't get a hotel room in Napa in October because it's harvest season as well. But
Oh, yeah.
if you could get a chance to do that anyway. Ambrosia's live performances showcase both their legacy hit material, more recent songs. Yeah, do you have a new album?
Well,
we
keep wanting to put out a new album, but we're just scattered, and it's in the old days when you had a record company give you a budget for an album, everybody could just
now it's
take
on
the
you.
time, go in the studio. It was being paid for somebody else. Now everybody got all these different things. Some of the guys teach at college as well as play live with us. Burley's got a studio. He does production things at his house as well as plays with Bill Champlin on the side. Plays with all these different people. So it's
And
really
you're in
hard to find
Milwaukee?
one. No, I'm in LA, but my studio's in Milwaukee, so it's hard to get
Where
to
you
my
can smell
studio.
the fresh dairy air.
Where you can smell it.
Well, that's the interesting thing with the studios, because I have a studio in the house and everybody has it. Do you guys find that you go in and record in one location, or are you doing tracks and flying them over to someone else and opening up the sessions? And...
Now it's like we did like we just did we released again. No one's. It's even hard to try to sell anything anymore. But we are streaming a version of we did Eleanor Rigby, a Beatles song, because we had been playing it. We asked twice now. We've been doing these Beatle festivals because we had a hit.
Well, yeah, and I read something about Magical Mystery Tour.
Okay, that's a good introduction to that song. Yeah, we were asked to do a song on this album called All This in World War II, which a lot of people.
It was like an anti-war. wasn't it?
Well, actually, it was a war documentary about World War II with nothing but Beatles music. There was no dialogue.
I never saw it.
I never saw it. Anyway,
None of us has ever seen it.
It wasn't a successful movie, but the soundtrack was
Netflix.
amazing. It had, so it had. I'm trying to think of all ours. It had Elton John, Rod Stewart, the Bee Gees, Peter Gabriel, Leo Sayer. It was this amazing cast,
Nice.
all
Amazing.
doing Beatles songs, right? And so we were asked to do Magical Mystery Tour, which actually opens the movie because it roll up for the, and it's like bombing or going out.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie, but I'm assuming.
All this in World War II. Maybe on Netflix. I don't know. All
The
this
movie
around
lasted like a week. It was a total dud, but the
Yeah.
album went like gold in England and stuff like that. And our version of Magical Mystery Tour did crack the top 40, shot all the way up to 39. And whoops, phone's off. Anyway, so make a joke, it shot all the way up to 39. But it made top 40. But we've been doing that ever since. And so we get asked to do these Beatle festivals. But when we do Beatles songs, a lot of times we don't want to do it like the Beatles did.
You want to do your own.
Well, like we did with Magical.
Yeah.
So we rearranged Eleanor Rigby, and we liked it so much we recorded our version. It's out on the internet.
Are you playing it tonight? You know.
Actually, no. You know what? I think we're going to drop it in favor of doing the Bruce Hornsby thing.
Oh.
We're going to switch them out.
Same as it ever. No, wait, that's a different song.
It's part of the lyric. Talk about the way it is.
The way, yeah. Appearing tonight, 8 p.m. at the Golden Nugget Showroom. Tickets are still available at the Golden Nugget box office, and you're still the biggest part of me. Here's a few other things that are happening tonight. Of course, Ambrosia performing 8 p.m. here at the Golden Nugget on Fremont Street. Saturday, 7:30 p.m., jazz saxophonist Dave Koz returns to the Smith Center with his Summer Horns Tour. This weekend, Tower of Power brings its 50th anniversary tour to the South Point Showroom. Every Friday night, The Dirty at 12:30 is a free comedy show also at the South Point, produced by Gabe Lopez, and yes, it's at 12:30 a.m. This weekend, Friday through Sunday, 8 p.m., our friend, actor-comedian Brad Garrett hosts at his comedy club. Saturday, comic Tim Allen, one night only at the Mirage. Stand-up, something?
No, I just said one night.
One night only, yeah. Stand-up comic George Wallace is going to be joining us on Monday, 2 p.m. on Vegas Nonstop on NBC Sports Radio. And you can see George Tuesday through Thursday, 8 p.m. at the Westgate Resort. Also at Westgate, vocalist Clint Holmes and Earl Turner singing their favorite songs in soundtrack. Tonight and Saturday, 7:30 p.m., UB40 is spilling red wine at the Brooklyn Bowl at the Links. Saturday is National Dance Day. And the Mint Tavern on West Sahara hosts a retro dance party tonight, 7:30, free drop-in swing dance lessons. August 18th, Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
Try to remember the 60s at the Orleans Casino. Stop by your favorite.
I have a story about Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Oh, shit.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, well, another guy, the guy who ended up recording our first album was another electronic genius named Chuck Johnson. We used to record, we used to rehearse at his house and stuff like that. And he had a little tiny sound system, but his friend of his was friends with Cheech or Chong, one of them. And they were not, they weren't famous quite yet. They were kind of getting a little bit of a buzz. And this actually, this predates the era when there were comedy clubs everywhere. There weren't that many comedy clubs anywhere. So they wanted to do something, a showcase place in LA. So they rented out a place, I think it was Gus's Hot Dog Stand on Melrose in Hollywood. And they needed an opening act. They said, look, we don't want to do, we don't have enough material for all night. So they asked Chuck, our friend, do you know any bands that could open? He said, yeah, I have friends Ambrosia, they could open for you guys. This is again before either one of us were very famous.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's going to be Ambrosia and Cheech and Chong at this place in Hollywood. It was going to be $2 to get in. And Tommy Chong called and says, look, here's the deal. You guys get half the door. It's all we can afford. We can't, wasn't a lot of money, but said, okay, half the door, we'll do it. So anyway, we made $2. At the end of the night,
Ouch.
Tommy Chong comes up to me.
$2.
Oh,
Two people.
that is too
Oh my
bad.
God.
That's all that showed up for the
For
show.
Cheech and Chong and
That is
Ambrosia.
Oh my God.
Two people. They
That's
were out
great.
on the sidewalk doing their routine,
Hustle.
trying to get people
Yeah.
in. People just walking by.
Okay,
I'm like,
now
"Who are
the
these
trick is, do you know who those two people are? Because they should be famous. They should be like the
Mom
the
and
guy,
Dad.
like the guys on the back of the Kiss record holding the freaking thing. You know what I mean? They should be known.
Well, Jason and Jeanette have prepared something special to take us out and
I can't
finish this up with us.
remember, but anyway, I'll try to find them.
Oh, that'd be, yeah. So anyway, that's August 19th at the Orleans for Cheech and Chong. Celebrate legal recreational marijuana and stop by your local dispensary before you go see Cheech and Chong. And
It's all legal.
yeah, it's all legal.
Yes.
So here's Jason and Jeanette from Jet Velocity.
I want to do it justice for you here.
You're gonna take us on out of here.
There's a new sun rising. I can see the new rising. I can keep realizing you're the biggest part of me. Need your loving here beside me. Need you close enough to guide me. I've been hoping you would find me. You're the biggest part of me.
Well, make a wish, baby. Well, then I will make it come true. Make a list, baby, of the things I'll do for you. Ain't no risk now in letting my love rain down on you. We can wash away the past so that we can start new.
away the past so that we may start anew. We'll make a wish, baby, and I will make it come true. Ain't the risk, baby, ain't no risk for you. When no risk now, let my love rain down on you, so we can wash away the past, so that we may start anew. Next Internet Jet Velocity, Joe Puerta, Ambrosia tonight. The Golden Nugget Hotel Casino. Tickets are available. Go to the box office. If you see us out, please say hello. Buy us a drink. Pass us a joint. Do something for God's sakes. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Eat well, party hard. Don't forget to join us on Monday, 2 p.m. on NBC Sports Radio, 9:20 a.m. Peace out.
Peace
Be nice to
out.
each other.
Stay hydrated.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thanks.
Thank you guys.
And when
Thank
is your
you.
book coming out? You need
My
a
book? Oh,
You
Let me
need
go
to
shut that off.
Yeah.
Because we're
this is
still
the good
live.
stuff. This is the
All right,
good
I'll have to
stuff.
figure
Thanks
out
for the
that.
great music.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I know it. Well, hopefully, see you around. Where do you? Are you playing in town then?
Yeah, we do some stuff that we play in a band called Jet Velocity, and we have a band called Eco Tonic. It's kind of it's like eco and tonic is a cure-all and elixir, so I like